Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning? Here's what you missed.
The Wajakoyah factor.
Exactly.
What's the phenomenon
But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's exactly what Gabe is talking about. A lot of Kenyans think that good leadership is radical leadership at whatever cost. And Wajakoyah is talking radical things. You know, if you speak Luya, you know, there's some words that he says
that cannot be repeated.
Cannot be repeated. My tongue cannot roll that way. You know, so he's got the vulgarity. He's got the controversial topics. He's talking about weed, he's talking about keeping snakes, he's talking about harvesting venom and things like that, and he's talking about, you know, if you're corrupt in his government, he'll hang you immediately, and he's saying, you know what, when I come in, I'm gonna be a dictator and things like that, and people are clapping at that because the Kenyan mind thinks that the more radical a person is, the better it is for them. The Kenyans do not believe in process. So the people who are looking for that wild factor will gravitate towards Wajakoyah. Now, of course, this may seem like it's a small part of the population, but let me tell you, if it goes down to the wire, then those 300,000 votes that this guy might get might actually make all the difference. Indeed. And the question is, will it be 200,000 to 300,000 votes from the people who've already decided, or is it from the undecided?
Right.
If it comes from the undecided, then there's going to be probably a sort of a runoff if it comes from the undecided. But if it comes from a sitting base that either Azimio or Kenya Kwanza is going to lose part of its support, then that party needs to be scared. Now the question you need to ask yourself, who are attracted to Wajakoyah? Wamutaji Bangi, number one. Okay, very excited about Wajakoyah. Number two, the people who have not experienced government and dictatorship. In other words, people who were born when Moi was exiting power. So people who are 22 years around there. Those are the guys who are excited about Wajakoyah. And the question is, who has made his base those people? Is it the Hasara, or is it hello? You know, so question is who's gonna lose.
But do these people have the votes though? Have they registered?
Here's the thing, they've not registered, right? So if you're hedging your bets on young people, a wrong bet, because they've not registered and they're not gonna show up to vote the big time. That's why I'm giving Wajakoyah maximum 300,000 votes.
Those 300,000 votes, that's in this election. That's a huge number. As a matter of fact, Mark is right. It could be actually a +1. And who is this guy? And this is why I tell you, Jeff, sometimes we get it wrong by a mile. You know, the mere fact that we are entertaining somebody like Wajakoyah now we are told the man is well read, well educated. And I've actually asked a few people who know him, and I said, man, this guy, but now look at how he's carrying himself. And this is a funny thing about this country. You would have expected somebody with such an academic, advantage to be to have an element of Sakajaism. But now the person of Sakajaism, you're told, does not have the. I mean, look how twisted that thing is, Mark.
That's the irony.
It's the irony of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, the person you expect to be having does not have. The person who has is. What kind of a country are we living in? And you have people following him and clapping at him when he's talking about weed, and he's telling church musinilete. But look at what this guy is selling.
Yeah.
And that's why, Jeff, I sometimes cry for my beloved country when you see such things happen, because Mark, seriously, I met 2 young kids at Juja Road shouting Wajakoyah. 2 young little kids, they're like 11 and 12. At Wajakoyah mazeni mpoa anaimba reggae.
No.
And that's what they believe.
Wait, does he have a degree?
Oh, come on.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
That's what let me just say it without fear of contradiction. And Sakaja, if you're listening, you know you're my friend, and you know I'm saying this with love. Sakaja does not have a degree.
Ouch.
Okay? No, come on. There's nothing wrong with not having a degree.
True.
There's nothing wrong with it. Right. Just be a senator, be an MP, it's fine. I don't think he is necessarily a bad leader because he doesn't have a degree. I think he's become a bad leader because he cannot be honest about not having a degree, and he's trying to pull the wool off on the people's eyes. I think that is unfair. I think it is morally wrong, and I think he's setting a bad example for his children and my children. Be honest.
By the way, he's a front runner right now in Nairobi.
Correct. And that's why I'm saying this, to me, is no longer a legal issue.
It's a moral question.
It's a moral issue. I may not have the capacity to decide whether he has a degree or not, and it's not my call. No. The best I can say, Bank Chacha, the best I can say is he doesn't have, right? But is that the truth? Whether he got it or not, how many people have produced?
But why
degrees?
now? Why now,
exactly.
gentlemen?
Why
now?
You see, Jeff, there are so many things. Mark, if you want a degree today, there are so many bush campuses you can order a degree from. Yeah? We were being told somebody attended a crusade and came with a degree. But the issue is, like I asked you, Mark, is it there or is it not there? The person who can answer that question morally is one Sakaja.
Gentlemen.
But if he finds himself that he can stand in front of people and say, I do have, then he has questions to answer, and those questions are very clear within him, because at some point, I believe one day somewhere he will stand in front of people and answer that question in its entirety. That I believe.